New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
If I take the button off and then I go ahead and I go to full screen, there you go. Well, hi, good evening to everyone. This is a Friday evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am the Reverend Michael Mangus, broadcasting this evening from the top secret radio room, surrounded by thousands. And I mean thousands of watts. You can't have enough watts. You always need more watts. In the super secure concrete bunker somewhere around Akron, Ohio, that is so top secret. Only one person knows where it is. And the two people I don't want to know where it is the guy that's going to be with me here in a few moments, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, and also my boss, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski. Those are two people that sometimes I just want to hide from during the week. Well, hi there. How are you? We have a wonderful show for you this evening on this Friday the 13th. How about that? Please feel free to interact with us by posting your comment on either Facebook or YouTube. And again, my shy people out there, yeah, I know. You often wonder why you watch this show on Friday evenings. I often wonder why I put it on. But get a hold of me. All right. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. If you don't want to comment or put anything up on Facebook or YouTube, I understand. pastormichaelmangus@gmail.com. Well, the purpose of our fireside chat here is to talk about contemporary issues from a New Thought perspective. And as I keep saying, I want us all to have a new thought about what is going on in the world. This is not the time to turn the news off completely. I have never said, especially to my friends in the teaching, to turn the news off completely. I've always said to balance the news with spiritual practice. That is what's going to get us through the times that we're living in right now. And once again, to help me out this evening, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I need a lot of help. Here he is, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
You need more help than I can provide. That's all I can say. Happy World Radio Day.
Well, we're going to talk about that in just a moment.
Yeah. So
now, did you get me another amplifier? More watts?
On what I make? No.
Well,
you want a new amp?
Yeah.
need to talk to Rev Doc about upping my salary a little bit.
Well, because you were not on the program last week,
I know. Did everybody miss me? Did y'all miss me?
people were emailing me, calling me, wondering where you were. Now,
Yeah.
all of the conspiracy theorists out there thought that Rev Doc, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, fired you.
No, wouldn't
Or
have.
the other theory was that the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, they had their secret agents come take you away because that you operate the pirate radio station out of your home.
That's much closer to the truth. Well, what happened was Reverend Michael Mangus,
Yeah.
Pastor Michael Mangus at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Said, I'm tired of you. I want somebody else this week.
No, I
Just kicked me
didn't.
to the curb.
Well, Rev Doc actually, I had an actual newsman on last week in Mark Williamson. So Rev Doc, so Rev Doc let me pay him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he said, take out of petty cash $20 and buy him breakfast.
Oh. You bought him one Egg McMuffin? That's it?
No, a half.
Oh.
They're very expensive up here.
They are. They're getting bad. So
well, anyhow, I assured all the people who were calling me, I assured them that you were coming back and that Rev Doc would not fire you because you work so inexpensively. That you
yeah, that's a nice way of saying Rev Doc's cheap as shit.
Now, he showed up last week.
Oh, yeah? He's probably here tonight.
Yeah, so
we didn't know it.
Well, we'll see if he shows up this week. But ladies and gentlemen, we all know why you tune in. It is because of the world famous, ever popular, and award winning Reverend Jeff's story of the week.
Love the echo.
Now, when Legal reviewed your story this week, Reverend Jeff,
yeah,
they said it reminded them of watching the National Geographic Channel.
There were no naked boobies around or anything. I mean,
and they appreciated that you spiced it up.
Oh, okay. All right.
It wasn't the nice Reverend Jeff that they've been getting here the past few weeks.
Well, yeah, I've tried to keep it uplifting after all the crap we talk about, but this story was a little more earthy.
All right, so they wanted for me to tell you thank you for the afternoon off last Friday.
Okay.
Because they usually take about 2 to 3 hours to go over your story. So they said thank you, and they went to the bar early.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I figured they would appreciate the fact that the news wires were cooling down a little bit since I wasn't heating them up with a bunch of crap.
Oh, Mark and I talked about some really interesting subjects. Well, anyhow, Rev Doc, the Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, he spun the wheel of F's this week. And it landed on 6.
Is that all?
And legal said I have permission to add another 6.
Oh, okay.
Discretion.
Oh my God.
So you have 12 this week.
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. The news this week has been pretty interesting.
Yeah. It made
you may use half of them before the first half hour is up.
The news this week would provide for an interesting drinking game.
Okay, what
every time he lies, take a drink. Every time he glitches, take a drink. Every time, Pam Bondi goes off on a tangent on a rip and tear, take a drink. Now
I think
you'd be shit faced until St. Swithin's Day.
Well, as Reverend Jeff said earlier, we want to wish everyone a happy World Radio Day.
Yeah.
And this year's global theme is radio and artificial intelligence. Do you mean that they're going to be able to replace us here in the next few years, Reverend Jeff?
It kind of looks that way. I'm not. I understand that AI is a tool. Artificial intelligence is a tool, but what they're doing with it these days is beyond the pale. Did you see? There was the guy sat and made like a movie trailer or something like that with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, maybe, and they were fighting, and it was like it was so realistic. It was almost like it was Hollywood produced, but it was all done on computer, and with the rise of deep fake audio and deep fake video, you can make anybody say anything or look like they're doing something. All these guys, taking pictures of young girls and making that into pornographic images. This is just AI is getting totally out of control.
Well, artificial intelligence is being used in the radio industry. Is again, it's gaining popularity because it's so cheap. But according to a Pew Research Center study from last year, most Americans are more concerned than excited about how much AI they encounter in their daily lives. Many local broadcasters share their skepticism. Hannah Mayer, who's the music director and afternoon host at WRUR, The Route, says that AI may be able to generate playlists, but it can't reproduce the emotional connection that comes from human curation. Mayer said that as human beings, we crave that. We want more art, and we want to continue to create it ourselves. So I agree. And that the programs that I have seen out there for AI announcements still is not up to my standards. So I might as well just do them myself.
Yeah. And just imagine people tuning in to watch Friday Fireside Chat without you and without me, interacting and being human. And we fall flat on its face.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted
what you neglected to do when it comes to World Radio Day is talk about where it came from. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't
it came from the United Nations, from UNESCO.
Yes, we'd be remiss in not mentioning that. It was founded in, the concept started in 1946 to share news related to politics and sports, education, entertainment that helped individuals to remain updated about their surroundings and current events. And just sort of kind of grew from there. And it all started on this date in 1946, February 13th, which I don't think was a Friday the 13th, but, I could be wrong.
Well, I wanted to wish everyone not only a happy World Radio Day, but also, and I messed that up. Let's go back one. There you go. Cute little teddy bear. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. The 14th day of February. And Valentine's Day, also called St. Valentine's Day, is celebrated annually on the 14th. It originated as a Christian feast day honoring a martyr by the name of Valentine. And through later folk traditions, it has also been a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world. Now, we do have some facts about Valentine's Day. Okay. The total spending for this year here in the U.S. is $29.1 billion. Men will spend almost twice as much as women on average for Valentine's Day.
It's because women are cheap.
The views and opinions expressed are those of Reverend Jeff and those. Another amount that Americans will spend will be $13.3 billion on jewelry and a special evening out, which is $6.3 billion. 60% of marriages begin online. 33% increase there has been in online dating activity between February 1st and February 14th. Who wants to be alone on Valentine's Day? And $8.9 billion is the projected global dating service market size by 2029. So happy Valentine's Day to one and all.
Oh my God. I have the world's most perfect joke, but if Rev Doc hears it, it's liable to give him a coronary.
Okay.
I won't say it, but all that money, and here's something else. I bet you didn't know this. Did you know that Wales, the country of Wales, celebrates their own special Valentine's Day on January 25th?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Her name was Saint Duin. I can't say it. Duinwin. She was a princess who was unlucky at love, so she became a nun. She prayed for lovers to have better luck than she did. And so evidently her prayers were answered. She's like a thing in Wales. And she had churches in her honor. She did actually, she was the abbot. She ran her own convent in the church.
Now, Reverend Jeff, have you been drinking before the program?
Sparkling water.
Okay. All right. Well,
but yeah, they celebrate their own little Valentine's Day. She's the patron saint of lovers in Wales, and they celebrate it at the end of January. So how cool is that?
ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to tell you this.
It's time for a break.
No, it is time for the news. And now, from SIN, the Spiritual Information Network, this is the Evening News, brought to you by Reverend Valentine and also Reverend Cupid. All right. Well, it seems that we have a little bit of a partial government shutdown here. A shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security is all but certain this weekend after lawmakers left town for a planned recess with no funding deal in place. The Republican congressional leaders have blamed those darn Democrats once again, saying that the White House made reasonable concessions after several Democratic leaders demanded changes to ICE protocols. The next steps are uncertain, with talks ongoing between the White House and Democrats. The two chambers of Congress aren't scheduled to return to Washington for 11 days, though GOP leaders could still call members back if a deal has been reached. Democrats may not have much power to actually restrict ICE and U.S. Customs and Border Protection activities in the event of a likely partial shutdown. Even during a shutdown, ICE would still continue to operate its main functions, multiple congressional aides have contended. Well, they're trying.
They're not trying
They're
hard
trying
enough.
to curb ICE's activities.
Yeah. You're not trying
You don't
hard.
have much to say on this, do you?
Not really. I'm over it.
Well,
I mean, it's at a standoff. We see things one way, they see things the other way. It's going to be kind of tough to meet in the middle.
well, the Minnesota surge is supposedly ending. And I put that in quotes here. White House border czar Tom Homan announced on Thursday that the months-long immigration enforcement crackdown in Minnesota would be ending. I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that the surge operation conclude, Homan said. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry expressed cautious relief at the end of Operation Metro Surge, which sparked mass protest, thousands of arrests, and deaths of 2 U.S. citizens. And at its height, about 3,000 federal officers were deployed in what was called the largest immigration enforcement operation in the country's history. Homan, whom the administration placed in charge of its operations in Minneapolis, said during a press conference on Thursday that the surge in Minneapolis that began in early December again would be ending. I have proposed again that we bring a halt to ICE activity in Minneapolis. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Well, the whole ICE thing in Minneapolis was a failure. It was a complete failure. It was a complete and utter failure for the Trump administration. They don't want to admit it. They said that they were going after the worst of the worst when it comes to criminals. And instead, they went after grandmothers who had been here for 50 years and hadn't done a damn thing. They killed 2 American citizens.
Yes.
Cold blood. They terrorized people left, right, and center. It's a complete and utter failure.
And they also went after people who were trying through the court systems to get legal.
Exactly. These are not the worst of the worst. These are not the drug cartels and the rapists and the murderers that said that they were going after. They were going after low-hanging fruit because they had a quota and they couldn't meet it.
Right, and they went after people who had more melanin in their skin than we do.
Yeah.
They went after brown people.
Mm-hmm.
They went after people, again, of Asian descent who've been here for years and who were U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
Well, in other news this week, the WWE put on an event this week. Oh, no, they didn't. It was Attorney General Pam Bondi and her wrestling-like tactics in front of a House committee this week. And what was interesting is that Pam Bondi had the search histories of the committee members who looked at the unredacted Epstein files. And it was so fiery, I thought that anything in the future should be put on pay-per-view.
They could make some money off of this. That's for sure.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, in front of the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday, was some of the witnessed some of the most combative testimony that we've ever seen from a Trump cabinet official. Bondi came into the hearing with the administration and DOJ facing a series of problems, including their handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, the newly reported failed incident of 6 Democratic lawmakers, which they tried to get through a grand jury for doing nothing except reminding soldiers that they have the right to turn down illegal orders, and the killing of 2 protesters by federal officers in Minneapolis. So early in the hearing, Democratic Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington asked Epstein survivors in the audience to stand up. And she's smiling up in front there. She challenged Bondi on a difficult issue. She asked Bondi, who had just apologized to the survivors for the abuse they suffered, to also apologize to them for the Justice Department failures to redact survivors' sensitive personal information. So when they were redacting everything, they just happened to let loose survivors. Mm-hmm. Bondi paused as if she was considering her next move. Then, rather than apologize, she launched into a deflection about her predecessor as Attorney General Merrick Garland. The exchange quickly developed into arguments and personal attacks. It was a telling moment. The Justice Department has acknowledged these redaction failures, and the survivors are some of the most sympathetic figures imaginable, but Bondi decided that the moment called for combativeness and not contrition. It was very, very interesting. And that House Speaker condemned the Trump Justice Department for monitoring Epstein document review. So Attorney General Pam Bondi obtained Democratic Representative Jayapal's search history of the unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files, and even President Donald Trump's most powerful ally in Congress has a problem with it. House Speaker Mike Johnson said on Thursday that the Justice Department tracking of lawmakers' search history was inappropriate, a rare rebuke from the Republicans, who is usually in lockstep with the administration. So what happened is that Representative Jayapal went to Mike Johnson, of who is a friend and colleague of several years. And she said, Mike, what do you do? Toothpicks. And it was interesting that Pam Bondi had a burn book. So every time that a representative would ask a question, she had this whole book filled with comebacks rather than answers. And that's your tax dollars at work. I think the next time that they do any type of hearing with Pam Bondi, that we go ahead and we put it on Netflix.
I say we just don't have her on at all, because the woman can't tell the truth to save her life. Of course,
she was caught. She was caught perjuring herself several times during that hearing.
Yeah. Well, they can't. I read this earlier. It was either earlier today or yesterday. a commentary that said that these people know nothing about their jobs. They know nothing about what they're doing, but they're smart enough to know to be very careful with what they say, because if they are caught in an out and out overt lie, that can get them.
Right.
So rather than to answer the question, they will deflect it and they will go on the attack in order to not answer the question truthfully. And that's exactly what she did. She never answered questions. They'd ask her a question and she'd say, well, I'm trying to answer it, and then launch into like a vicious attack. And these were vicious attacks. I mean, I'd never seen anything like that before.
That's because, again, it was all pre-planned. They went in there, the Justice Department and Attorney General Bondi went in there, again, to smear and not to answer any questions at all. And again, could you imagine someone taking a look at your search results after going in and taking a look at the Epstein files? Why? And then again, to have a burn book. I just don't understand. It's as our friend Tim says, we're getting fire hosed here. And someone said something this week on the Stephanie Miller show. They said that the comment was, well, you should be all serious about this. Here Trump is, again, just taking the country down the wrong road, and you're laughing at it.
Well.
And the comedians have been the truth tellers.
Yeah, that goes right back to the old days, the court jesters. They could get by with saying all kinds of stuff about the king because they made it funny.
Right.
Yeah. That's why we take a comedic look at this. That's why the late night shows are dealing in comedy with this, because otherwise, there's no telling what they would do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a break, and then, because you missed him so much last week, we are going to have a very special edition of Reverend Jeff's Story of the Week. Of which, again, legal, they liked it. They said it was just a little bit more like yourself.
I can see
now
that.
Everyone's going to be wondering what you're going to do here.
Yeah.
Well, we will have Reverend Jeff on here in just a moment. Again, good evening to everyone. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. Just a few announcements, and then we will play a few commercials, make a few dollars for the New Thought Media Network, and then come back here. And I would like to remind you that we meet here in Akron online at summitcsl.org. This Sunday, we have a very special speaker in musician Tim Morrow, as he speaks on the unification step of spiritual mind treatment. So go to that web address, summitcsl.org, for more information on how to join the Zoom call. We would love to see you on Sunday. All right. Time for a break, and then we will be right back with more. That's right. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science with Reverend Joy Fletcher, Reverend Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And because I actually play requests, it's been requested that I play this.
Now here's Reverend Jeff Radcliff with the story of the week.
Yes. See? Public
Our
acclamation.
professional voice.
Yeah.
You see, Tim, I actually listen to you.
Do you listen to Diana?
Do I listen to Diana?
Uh-huh.
What? I'm
Yes, you
sorry.
listen to Diana?
Let me turn my hearing aid up.
Did you know that you misspoke about Tim speaking on Sunday?
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah. He's going to be talking about the unification step.
Yes.
SMT, and not, or the realization step, rather, not the unification step.
Oh,
I misread her note.
okay. I thought I said that right. All right.
No, apparently not.
Well,
you should listen to the spiritual director. She knows all.
well, she's the spiritual director of Summit CSL, not me. I'm just, I just put the chairs up and make the coffee and go get the donuts.
So, well, come on.
Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Reverend Jeff story of the week. And here he is, all the way from the great state of Tennessee. Here he is, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Well, this story was not originally inspired by Charles Darwin, but as it turns out, Charles Darwin's 217th birthday was yesterday. And so there's a tie-in here, if you'll bear with me. But today, the story of the week. New archaeological evidence reveals that seabird guano, that's nutrient-rich bird droppings, okay, have been the driver behind the prosperity of the most influential pre-Incan societies.
Yeah?
Yeah, in ancient Andean cultures, fertilizer was power.
Okay.
And yeah, it brought in tons of money. There's an archaeologist by the name of Dr. Jacob Bongers from, I believe he's from Australia.
Yeah.
Did some studies and found that bird shit, basically, played a role in shaping ancient societies in the Andes. Farmers on the coast of Peru and northern Chile, these are some of the driest areas on Earth, and even irrigated soils tend to lose their nutrients. So what they did was they went to these offshore islands,
Wow.
including Las Islas Ballestas, which is the pictures that we're going to show for today. They had they went there to get bird guano. It's a renewable fertilizer, and it allowed them to grow corn, which was one of the most important staple crops in the Americas. It boosted the production of maize, and this agricultural surplus fueled their economies, drove their trade. It gave them wealth. It helped them to grow their population and their regional influence. Dr. Bongers and his study team analyzed biochemical signatures in 35 maize samples recovered from burial tombs in the Chincha Valley.
Okay.
And they found exceptionally high nutrient levels of nitrogen in the maize, far beyond what the normal natural soil conditions could produce. And that indicated that the crops were fertilized with bird poo. Yeah, because the nitrogen in the bird guano came from the fish that the birds ate.
Right.
So the farmers would hire people to go out in their boats to these islands and have them collect all this stuff and bring it back so they could lay it on the fields so that they could grow their corn. And it just kind of fueled their economy. So these are civilizations that happened before the Incas. So because the Incas were a little bit farther inland,
Right.
So, yeah. So the Chicha Valley, they used it to make a ceremonial fermented beer, which they called chicha, and that's where the name comes from. But guano was a highly sought after resource, and the Incas eventually turned onto it as well because it helped them to. It played a role in their diplomatic arrangements between the Incas and the Chincha communities, and so.
Well, who would think that bird poo?
Bird poo. Who knew, right?
Now, Diana thinks that I'm full of it.
Well, you are. And that's Diana told me that she lives for Sundays because you all have a subscription to the Sunday New York Times.
Right.
That's what she lays down at the bottom of your birdcage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that story again was full of and that's the reason why Legal liked it.
Yeah. But weren't those stunning island pictures?
Those were wonderful.
Yeah. Those are pretty cool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was the award-winning Reverend Jeff's story of the week. Well, getting back to the news here. Oh, boy. Let's see here. Is that the right one? No, that's not the right slide. There you go. All right. School picture days have been canceled. Investigations launched after rumors link popular photo company to Epstein. Parents have been panicking at school districts across the country, saying that they are investigating Life Touch over unsubstantiated rumors related to the late sex offender. And one of the nation's largest school photography companies is facing canceled photo shoots and district-wide investigations and online rumors suggesting that children's photos could have been accessed by a person named in the Jeffrey Epstein files. At this time, and this is a statement put out by the Clifton Public Schools, one of New Jersey's largest school districts. At this time, no evidence has been presented indicating misconduct involving LifeTouch's operations within our school or any compromise of student information. Nevertheless, we believe that it is appropriate to review the matter carefully and transparently. Now, LifeTouch has denied any wrongdoing in the matter. Several school districts have said that they will be investigating LifeTouch over the former owner of its parent company, while one school says that it was canceling its school photos altogether. Now, the rumors narrow in on Mr. Black, who until 2021 served as the CEO and chairman of Apollo Global Management. The private equity firm owned LifeTouch through its 2019 purchase of the company Shutterfly, which purchased LifeTouch in 2018. The deal to acquire LifeTouch didn't officially close until September 2019. However, it was about a month after Epstein's death. So what happened was Mr. Black went ahead and he resigned, and that LifeTouch is egg on its face because that they think, or there's been rumors stating that this pedophile went ahead and had access to children's photos taken in the schools. Now, in a separate statement posted online, LifeTouch CEO Ken Murphy acknowledged Black's former ties to Apollo Global Management, but stressed that no past or present member of Apollo's board of directors or Apollo's investors have ever had access to the student images for any purpose. Student photos are only shared for the purpose of student records and for their purchase by parents or guardians. LifeTouch also does not and has never provided images to any third party, he said, while noting that the company's compliance with the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Additionally, the company said that as a part of our decades-long relationship with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, LifeTouch prints Safe Smile cards free of charge for every student that we photograph that families can use with law enforcement if a child goes missing. So LifeTouch in and of itself, it sounds like that they have nothing to do with this gentleman, and I use that in quotes. And what's going to happen is their thousands of employees are going to get hurt with these schools canceling these school sessions. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
There are a lot of people not going to like what I have to say.
Well, go ahead anyhow.
Jeffrey Epstein had his hands in a lot of different pies. He was a fixture in high society. He was seen at events all over the world.
Yes. Didn't he give a lot of money away too?
He gave a lot of money away, but here's my point. He's at all these different events, and all these different events have guests who are, invited to show up for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is benign, fundraisers, things of that nature. So you could show up at one of these events because you were invited.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, you are in the Epstein files. Does that mean you did anything wrong? No. You just happened to be in the same space that Jeffrey Epstein was.
Right.
Maybe you posed with him in a picture, or maybe you were in the background of a picture that he was taking with somebody else. That puts you in the files. I think people, in their zeal to vindicate and to avenge, for lack of a better word, the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, I think people are going a little overboard. Just because a name, just because
Trump
a name
is mentioned a million times in the files. There's photos of him with underage girls.
There are, but there are also all kinds of other photos. There are also all kinds of other people who were there, who are also in the files, simply because they were in the same space with him. Doesn't mean that they were doing anything wrong.
Well, another person who was brought up this week was Deepak. He has spent decades teaching millions of people how to transcend the material world. His 95 books promise spiritual enlightenment through meditation, higher consciousness, and the connection to the divine. And he has built a wellness empire worth hundreds of millions of dollars by positioning himself as a bridge between ancient Eastern wisdom and modern seekers looking for meaning beyond the physical. And then there's emails to Jeffrey Epstein. God is a construct, Chopra wrote to the convicted sex offender in March 2017. Cute girls are real. The two-line message appears in over the 3 million pages of documents that have been recently handed over. It is one of a dozen emails that showing Chopra maintained regular contact with Epstein from at least 2016 through 2019, years after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from a minor. The correspondence revealed a relationship that went well beyond casual acquaintance. CBS News reported that Epstein's calendar showed about a dozen meetings with Chopra during these years, and the emails also showed Chopra turning to Epstein for financial advice, using him as a social connector to celebrities and diplomats, and joining him for late-night hangouts that Chopra describes as a blast. He said, "Bring your girls." In February 2017, Chopra invited Epstein to join him in Israel. The email did not mince words. He says, "Come to Israel with us, relax and have fun with interesting people. If you want to use a fake name, you can. Bring your girls. It will be fun to have you." The invitation came 9 years after Epstein's conviction. It came with an offer to help Epstein travel under an assumed identity, and it came with an explicit request, bring your girls. And that's not the most salacious email. There was more. Now, what happened is that Chopra went on X, formerly known as Twitter, and went ahead and again that he said that I'm deeply saddened by the suffering of the victims in this case, and I condemn abuse and exploitation in all forms. He denied any involvement in criminal conduct and described his contact with Epstein as limited and unrelated to abusive activity. Some past email exchanges have surfaced that reflected poor judgment and tone. I regret that and understand how they read today, given what was publicly known at the time. And the statement by Chopra has been viewed over 300,000 times. Now, there's some very good articles on Substack by our own Robert Brzezinski and also David Alexander, asking Chopra for more accountability and also repentance. Okay. Spiritual leaders have had their bad apples among us for a long time. Again, take a look at the evangelical church. Again, I encourage anyone who has been abused by Dr. Chopra to go public with them, go get an attorney, and bring it to the light. And also, these gurus for many years, they've been exposed, including Sai Baba was accused of using his female followers. Again, this kind of abuse towards women is just wrong. And those who are awake need to realize how much damage they do to these young people who grow up with these memories still alive in them. And also, it's interesting that Deepak wrote a book called The Shadow Side. Your comments, Reverend Jeff.
Yeah, this kind of stuff has been with us for years. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh had a sex cult back in the 60s and the 70s that came to light. Sai Baba, the evangelical church, the Catholic Church. This is nothing new, okay? It's only shocking because now we're seeing the extent of it, with someone who is not a religious figure, I guess. Like I said, though, there are people who are connected to each one of these who did no wrong, but yet we cannot dismiss the wrong that was done by the people they were in contact with.
Right.
It's very disturbing to me with Deepak Chopra, but there was also a part of me that was not really surprised.
And why is that?
I found myself surprised at that. I don't know. It was just something that was like, ever since I had dealings with him, and I've had dealings with him in the past. He's not run his business on the up and up. I bought courses from him that supposedly I had lifetime access to, and he kept changing the platforms on them so that I couldn't access them. And it was like herding cats in order to get someone to make sure that I had access to the materials that I bought. So, it's just the whole integrity thing with him. I was not real impressed with him. And this goes back several years.
Do you think this will hurt him in the long run?
Yeah, I do. There are enough people who have followed him, and I've seen some social media posts. The people are very disillusioned about him now. It doesn't matter if he recovers from it or not. He's made his money. He can sit back on his laurels and spend his money however. And if it's proven that he was part of the Epstein sex abuse ring and the exploitation of young girls, then he deserves to be in prison where he can't spend that money.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next several months here. And guess what?
It's time for us to go. Don't forget, folks, you see this stuff, it disturbs you, whatever. Do your spiritual practice. Pray, meditate, do whatever it takes. You can lift yourself out of this. You can lift yourself above it, because you can be above this fray.
Absolutely. And again, that's why we're here on a weekly basis. Yes, we poke fun at it, at the news. However, again, there is a serious side. And again, especially with the Epstein files, it's crazy how that after campaigning and saying that it's time to release the files, is that when push comes to shove, that the lawmakers have received very little evidence of wrongdoing, and that now there's some stuff coming out, but again, that's why, again, be very careful about putting individuals up on pedestals. Yes, there are criteria again for spiritual leadership. I get that, and that a lot of high people again have found themselves, after pastoring mega churches or spiritual communities. And again, I'm not going to name names, but there's been.
Oh, I will.
Okay. There's been controversy over the years. So, again, follow the teacher within. But that's the one teacher that will not let you down.
Exactly. And one other thing, don't go off half-cocked because you see a meme on social media. Do your due diligence. Just because you see something doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I have seen, and in this past year since Donald Trump has taken over, the White House again, not even a year, a lot of Democrats and a lot of progressives who see unsubstantiated rumors and memes and go off whole hog on it, and it turns out that it's not true.
Right. So we have to, yes, and I agree.
Do your due diligence and educate yourself. Investigate this stuff for yourself. Research it. There are numerous reliable news sources out there. Reuters and the BBC and NPR are my three favorites. Okay.
And also CBC. The Canadian
CBC is also very good. Look to those if you want to see the real truth, because what we're seeing in this country is a tainted news media these days. I don't know that I trust anybody out of the mainstream media here in this country anymore. They've seen stories that independent journalists have followed that they're not following.
We've got to go.
I know.
Or I'm going to get yelled at the Monday meeting.
You tell him I said.
You can use one.
Well, no, because I want to direct it toward him. You just tell him to call me.
Okay, I will.
Call me, Rev Doc. I'll set you straight.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much. It's nice having you back. Again, an interesting conversation, and folks, we got to go. And again, thank you so very much. Let not your hearts be troubled. Yes, I know that there's some crazy stuff going on out there, and that we have the choice of either letting the fire either burn us or purify us. So to use this time to be purified, to take a look at the shadow activities that you have, and to, again, start healing that. The things that you act out upon, usually there's some deep hurt inside. So take advantage of your practitioners, your ministers, and also good therapy. All right. It really does help to get in touch with your feelings about what is going on. All right. On behalf of all of us here at your New Thought Media Network, I'm Reverend Michael. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and also have a great day.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.